Hi, and welcome to the last video of the second week. Today, we will get hands-on on how you can explore opportunities by looking at your users. The technique I will discuss with you is called stakeholder mapping. I actually don't really like to call the people we are designing for users. They are people. And it's not only the people actually using what we design that are interesting to us. In many cases, the person buying and the one using is not the same. And how about in a business-to-business context? I will show you how you can get a grip on who is relevant to you and how you can make use of that, even for a business-to-business context. Let's start with an example. The situation here is lifting someone in a hospital. And due to working condition legislation, nurses are restricted in how much they are allowed to lift while working. And because of this, lifting aids are being installed throughout hospitals to aid them in their work. The one depicted here is the one that helps lifting someone from their bed into another bed or in a wheelchair. It's a frequent action, and it only crosses about 1 meter of distance. So if you're from an organization making these lifting aids, who are your stakeholders? Here's an example of a stakeholder map I made for this situation. And at the center are the patient being lifted and the nurse. They are both the primary users of the lifting aid, though from a different perspective. The patient is undergoing the action, while the nurse is in control. And this gives an entirely different perception of the product. And that is important to be aware of. We also have direct stakeholders. Have you considered also the physiotherapist that makes use of the lifting aid to do exercises? Or supports the nurses with advice what the patient is capable of, or what needs to be taken into account? When we were at the hospitals observing patients being helped, we also noticed the importance of the technical staff. In the Netherlands, whenever a patient needs to be helped, nurses have to call the technical staff to attach the hoist link to the rail system on the ceiling. And other indirect stakeholders that might be important are previous patients who no longer make use of the lifting aid and have recovered, or visitors of patients, and also the head of the hospital who decides about the acquisition of the aids. They all have considerations and bring in a new perspective which may help to stand out from the competition and design with the user in mind. In our case, we could make a difference by focusing on the technical staff. It was very time-consuming, having to call and wait for them each time that somebody needed to be lifted. So the new design took out this necessary step, enabling nurses to attach the hoist sling themselves. Patients no longer had to wait in uncomfortable situations. Nurses were empowered and could plan their day better, and technical staff could focus better on their core work. And the head of hospital could reduce unnecessary work hours. The previous example of a stakeholder map shows an overview of all stakeholders in one moment of time, while it can sometimes be valuable to look into how it evolves over time and how those different stakeholders interact with each other. This visual shows what we call a customer journey map. It's, as it says, a map of the journey of a user. And at the top, you see in pictures the stages of their journey. Below, you see the different stakeholders involved, at which moment and when they encounter each other, how and why. This can be used in two different ways: mapping the existing journey to get a better grip on the current situation, or using it to design a desired future journey. This map is created by Magauna Borras, who used it in creating the new unaccompanied minor's journey I discussed in the previous video. You can find the map on the MOOC platform to get a more detailed view. Look around and see how it is used. This visual is not a representation of the previous map. It has reduced all the details. What is visible are the stages of the journey and the different stakeholders involved. One of the dangers of a journey map is all the detailed information it contains. It tempts you to focus on one stage of the journey or on one stakeholder, while the real challenge is to make a difference throughout the stages for all stakeholders. To prevent this from happening, we make visuals like this. The various colors depict themes that came forward during our research with the stakeholders. Such themes can be the need for personal contact, digitizing the processes, important moments of truth, etc. And by mapping these themes on the journey, we could see the potential impact they could have, as well as how they could strengthen each other. So for the next example, I would like to introduce you to one of our students. Daniel, would you mind tell us about your project, where you use stakeholder mapping, and explain why you use this?
Sure. So this project was one I did for Peerby, a peer-to-peer local lending app. Peerby loved their current business model and loved how people were using their product. It created small communities within communities and had reconnected people with the idea of neighborhoods. My job was to find new business venture for them that stayed close to their original vision. This stakeholder map was used to try and identify the needs and wants from all the parties involved in a typical Peerby transaction.
So, but how does this use of stakeholder mapping has contributed in your design?
So after looking from the perspectives of different stakeholders, a plan was created to offer more than just product lending. The idea of building communities and neighborhoods was the most important part of Peerby's vision. And that could be accomplished by providing services as well. Our final concept looked at an integrated neighborhood with people offering their time and expertise in order to help one another connect and move towards a more connected and community-based economy.
Thanks. So today we wanted to show you a hands-on way of mapping your stakeholders and how this can help you in exploring opportunities. And this is just one way of dealing with your context and focuses primarily on the user perspective. So keep in mind that it's not about making an absolute true map. It's more about being inspired, getting a grip, and being able to have a more focused exploration. In the next week, we will be discussing how to leverage this for your exploration further on. Bye.